It's Thursday. That means it's time for another card sketch in our Template Thursday series. So we are working from the annual catalog and we are on page 22. If you've been following along, we've already done card sketches 1 through 12, and today we are doing card sketch number 13. So I love this basic card design page in the annual catalog because it gives so much inspiration. I love to make these and have them as patterns for my pattern box so that when I need some inspiration or I'm trying to use up some scraps or I just, am having a creative block, I can pull out my card sketch templates and am easily able to flip through them and go, oh, I want to make that one. So we are going to work on template number 13 today. So let me zoom in so you can see it. It's a fun one using one of my favorite techniques, tearing, which makes a beautiful, beautiful card. So let me bring in some things. We're going to be using, again, the beautiful bouquet 6x6 designer series paper. This is a new one of our papers in our new mini catalog. I've used it all week if you've been following along in my videos, and I think it's just beautiful paper. I love that bouquet photography technique where it's got those almost like light bubbles, right? That are, when it's out of focus, and then this beautiful kind of splotchy pattern that is great for so many things. So we'll be using that today. And let me pull in our parts and pieces so that you can get your screenshot. So we've got a piece of basic white thick that I've used to already cut and score our card base. We've got 3 layers, so layer 1, 2, and 3. And then we have our focal layer. And then here are all of the measurements. So you can go ahead and take your quick screenshot. So we've got layer 1, which is 4 1/4 by 3. Layer 2, which is 4 1/4 by 2 1/4. And layer 3, which is 4 1/4 by 1 1/4. And then our focal layer, which is 1 1/4 by 2. So grab your screenshot, and then we're going to put this fun card together. So this kind of melds Technique Tuesday and Template Thursday, along with all our new products, all in one fun tip video. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to do some tearing on all 3 of our layers. So we're going to tear them across because what we're going to do is we're going to end up layering these on top of each other just like so. But to give it more interest, we're going to tear these in opposite directions. So let's start with number 1. And so these are white core papers, which I love because you'll see as I'm tearing this, it's going to show through a bit of that white, right? And so it kind of gives it a little bit of a fun, not only texture, but a little bit of a fun border with that white behind it. Okay, so that's number 1. Number 2 here, we're going to tear the other way because we want this one to kind of be going from right to left. So one little tip that I have with this when you're tearing, you don't want to tear it in one fell swoop. Never works out for me that way. So I kind of tear in little bitty increments, right? And then if you want to make this kind of peaks and valleys, you just kind of go up and down, then back up, then down. So that kind of gives you the interest of that, right? And then our last piece, we're going to do the same thing. And then this one, we're just going to go, see how I'm just tearing like a little, then a little, then a little. It just seems to work better for me when I do it like that. And there we go. So you can see as we're going to layer these, we can see all 3 of those layers. Because they're white core, it gives us that little bit of border so all of our colors show well. For this one, I'm using 3 different patterns. You could use the same pattern or you could alternate the patterns, all kinds of things you could do with that. So now that we have those torn pieces, such an easy technique, but gives a lot of good interest to your card, right? So now I'm just going to add some liquid adhesive. And for our first one, layer one, that biggest piece, we're just going to grab our card and we're going to put this all the way to the bottom and just line it up left and right. And then adhere that down. Then we're going to take our next layer and kind of do that same thing. And we're going to put this one at the bottom. So we're just layering 1, 2, and 3 all on top of each other, lining them up with our card base there. And then the last one, we'll just go ahead and add our adhesive there to that one. And put this one right down. Isn't that a beautiful technique? I mean, this could be like, you could add fish to this and it could almost be like water or sand, right? Like there's that cute seagulls celebration set right now. You could add your little seagulls right above that. That would be cute. All right, and then our focal layer is almost going to be like a banner. So we're just going to add some liquid adhesive to this. And then we're going to just add this kind of on the top right, just like a banner would be kind of like hanging down. And that is our easy template, right? Easy, easy template for Template Thursday. So if you want a finished screenshot, go ahead and you can see the card and the measurements and how it should look. So grab that screenshot. And then let me show you some of the samples I made, 2 samples using this one. So this one's very similar. I used the same beautiful bouquet paper. On my banner, I stamped my sentiment, so I just used the hello, and that hello is also from that beautiful butterflies set that we used yesterday, and then again today. So I just kind of alternated left to right my hellos, added some sequins. Those are the free celebration sequins, purple sequins. It has purple, pink, and white, and I used those, loving those. I did pop this up on dimensionals, so it gives it a little bit of a lift. And then the same thing, I glued these down just like I did so. And see how everyone's gonna look a little different depending on how you tear that, right? And then this one, I just alternated the colors, and then my darker color is what I used to stamp my sentiment on that focal layer. And then on the inside, this is just another tip, but I love to showcase the designer series paper inside. So you can just cut a full layer of one of those designer series paper pieces. I used this one here. And then just die cut a piece of white and put that right on top so I can write my message here. So that is a great extra little tip for you. And then here's another one I used with the Country Woods designer paper. So you can see it kind of gives that effect. This one, I actually lifted each layer. So I adhered this with liquid glue, and then layer 2 and 3, I added Stampin' Dimensionals. So it gave it a little bit of lift there. So you can see. So those are kind of raised up layers. And then I took that edge that I tore and I kind of folded it down just with, you know, my fingers, kind of like that. And it kind of gives that edge, like that little ripped, just gives it a little more texture when you kind of fold that down. So that's an option as well. For my focal layer, instead of using DSP like I did here, I used a piece of basic white and I stamped an image and the sentiment, both also from that beautiful butterfly stamp set, and used those same white sequins along the side. So 3 different options using that fun template, but really the possibilities are endless with these templates, right? Because you just change the paper a little bit or the embellishments a little bit, your sentiments a little bit, and you have just a totally different look, right? All right, well, thanks so much for joining me on Template Thursday. We've got I don't know, seven or eight more in our annual catalog. How exciting, right? Our new mini catalog has templates as well, so we will continue on with this series. But if you missed any of our previous ones, you can find them on my blog at stampinqueenbee.com or in my YouTube playlist at Stampin' Queen Bee. And there is a Template Thursday playlist for all the previous ones as well. Thanks again for joining me, liking, subscribing, and sharing with your friends. I absolutely appreciate each and every one of you, and I can't wait to see you again soon. Bye for now.